Hello everyone, Paddy here, and I'm doing a quick video on, well, my gift to myself. I finally, after years and years of putting it off, have purchased myself a 3D printer. Yeah. In the end, I went with the Elegoo, and this is one of the newer, what's it called? It's a resin, polymer resin 3D printer. So instead of the ones that most people know of, where it's deposited from the top, what happens in this one is, hang on, inside this vat goes some resin, and this build plate drops down into the resin and it prints upwards, and it just cures it out of the resin using a UV light built into there. Obviously this is set up, and I had a test play yesterday, and you've got some tiny test examples here. So one of the things that's a bit limiting is the size, but that's fine. I only want this to get used to the idea of 3D printing. This thing didn't cost me very much. This here is the test print that they give you. This is the thing that they designed for you to test. Minifig for scale. There we go. Because everyone knows the size of a minifig. You can see here, with these resin printers, you get some incredible detail. Ignore that crack, that's because I was impatient taking it off the print bed, and I gave it a jab and it cracked. See inside there, you can see the writing on the side. You see the staircase going up, and the inner spiral. This was all printed without any support structures. It did that all on its own, which is awesome. And the other thing I printed was just a tester I found, so that it tests overhangs, straight up jaggies, straight edges, hanging stuff. But anyway, so I'm playing with it again today, and today I'm doing a bigger print, and I thought I'd go through what I have to do in order to do that, for anybody who's interested. So the first thing to do is make sure that the build plate is properly aligned and configured. So the first thing I need to do in order to do that is take the resin bed off. And the cool thing about this is if I turn her on, this guy makes it nice and easy. The fan is quite loud. So the way you're supposed to set up the printer is that a sheet of A4 goes on the build plate. Sheet of A4 on the build plate, and then you hit the tool button, manual, and then this button is an auto configure. And what it will do is start bringing the build plate down. Oh, hang on, stop, I missed a step. Okay, so I missed a step. Before I did that, the one thing I needed to do was loosen the build plate. It's got two screws there and there. Undo them. There we go. So now it rocks a bit, and then I hit the auto button. And what that will do is it will bring it down to the build plate, at which point it will auto level the build plate. Then the sheet of A4 is just the right thickness for the actual tray. Try a couple of times. And then now that's flat, and that's got a bit of give in it, which is what we want. So now I'm going to take that, tighten those bolts back in, and then use the up button to lift it back above the tray so I can put the resin tray back in. Okay, and I don't need to do this time, but I'm going to do it just because when I first set it up, the other thing you had to do was hit this exposure button. And then next, and it will show you the base plate lit up. So that's just to confirm that the lights are actually working, the UV lights. Okay, the very next thing I need to do then is decide what I'm going to print, and that means going to the computer. Okay, so while the print is configured and set up and ready to go, the next step is to obviously get the thing you want to print. So for that, the first site I've found, and I knew this was out there, was a place called Thingiverse. Thingiverse is a community of 3D modelers that make the stuff that they make available for you to print. It's where, you remember that little 3D test printer? There it is. That's the 3D print tester that I printed out. Now, obviously you find what you want to print, and then you download the model, and it comes to you in an STL file. So I'm not going to download this because it takes a while. The site's having a bit of a load problem at the minute, because everyone's away for Christmas. God bless them. But it downloads, and then you get the STL file. And then what you need to do is get that ready for the printer. So an STL file is just a 3D object, and it takes a little while to load. So this is Windows 3D print tool, which is pretty cool, but it doesn't you need to tell it what type of 3D printer you're getting and all that lot. The program I've got, which it comes with the Elegoo Mars, is Cheeto-Box, and this is designed for 3D printing. So that was something I was looking at yesterday. So you see here, you get the build area, and what you can do is take your STL file and drop it in, and that, because I've set Cheeto-Box up to know that I'm dealing with an Elegoo Mars, will show me how it fits. Now, this guy, you can see there's bits of red, so I know I need to fix that, and I need to give him a scooch around, scooch, 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 scooch. And now he fits in the printer. If he was still too big, we can scale him, we can move him up and down. Now, I learned the other day that we need to check on something. So this looks great, and in the 3D printer you can go meow, meow. Now, important thing here, his fingers. Now, if you take your time and scroll down like this, you will see that at certain points, those fingers are floating in the ether. This is a bad thing. This will cause the print to fail. Thank God I researched that. So, quickly show you how to fix that in this program. There's the supports, and you can just basically go, I want to add a support. So they're the three islands. If I go up like that, there, and there. So basically, now there's these three things that are going to be printed alongside the printer. This is designed to be just snapped off. It's just basically there to support the plastic above it. So now, with his supports in place, so his fingers should not fail, the only thing left to do is hit the slice button. Now you can change the settings, so I'm not going to hollow him out for this one. I'm just going to print a solid block. But you can hollow him out and say how much he needs to be filled inside, whether he needs nothing, how thick the wall's going to be. Because I'm still learning, I'm not messing with infill yet. But then you hit slice, and it goes off. It generates a slice, and what it generates is a print command for the scanner. So you can see here, because I'm not infilling it, it's going to cost that. It's estimated the price of the resin's about that much, and it's going to take 3/4 hours, so basically 7 hours. And then you can scan through the document, and you can see each of the things as they print out. And then you save that and put it on a pen drive. Now, I've just redone this because I did this last night. I've got a version of this that's also got the test print thing on there again in a larger format. And that's what I'm going to go print now. So now we're back to the printer. So back at the printer, pen drive all set up with the file. In the back it goes. Lit up, right, good. So now, all I would have to do is press print. And you can see there's the one on his own. And there's the one that I'm going to print out today. So yeah. And all I have to do now is press play, and that will start the print. However, the resin bed is still empty. So next step is getting the resin in there. Now, I've got my resin. It is a green resin, but mask, gloves. This stuff is mildly corrosive, so I need to put some stuff on so that I can pour the resin in. Right, so the resin's out of its oven, and then it just goes in there to about the 1/3 mark. Now, the good thing about this stuff is that if it's not used, once the print is over, you can just pour it back into the bottle and use it next time. If it doesn't look like you've got enough in there, if you start worrying, you can pause the print and then come back and put more in. But I'm just going to put the lid on this bottle, 1 second. But this is now in effect ready to print. All I need to do is press that button. And off it goes. So now, let's see. How long does the printer think it's going to take? Yep, 6 hours 47 minutes it thinks it's going to take. And you can see there, get the snapshot. So what I'll do is I'm going to put the top on. The lid is back on because this is a UV reactive substance. So the red helps with that. And I will come back and check on this on several occasions. What I'm going to try and do actually is set up that GoPro in time-lapse mode to watch the thing so that we can get a time-lapse of the whole thing being built. Now for the first chunk of it you're going to see nothing because it'll be below the resin, but we'll see. Anyway, next check-in in about an hour. So an hour in and we are 11% done. Get to see the screen do its thing. Becomes. It's just getting to the top of the resin that I put in there. Give it another hour or so and I should be able to see if it's worked. I could pause it, which would bring it up to the top, but I'm not going to. So 2 and a bit hours in now, and I don't know how well you are able to see in there. I can see through it. It's printing quite well, but give it another hour and it'll be a lot higher. Okay, we are 4 hours done. You can start to see the things in there now. So there's the bottom of the rook, there's the bottom of the child. It looks like it's going to be good. Another hour down. Oh, that Yoda's looking good. You can't see it that well in the red, but it does look good. Well, here we go. As you can hear or not hear, the fans are not running because 5.5 hours in, I wasn't paying enough attention, so the tank ran dry. which means that the print's failed. Oh dear. This is what comes of 3D printing. So here's where it got to. It got pretty damn far down the print, and then yeah, it just ran out of resin. Also, I've got a problem over here in that not all of its even though I put on those supports, they weren't heavy enough, so they've not cured properly, and as a result he's missing a finger. That's something I can do something about. I'll fix that. But yeah, I think I've actually joined the 3D printer community in that I've had a failed print. It seems like a rite of passage, and I managed it on my second print. However, I am amazed by how good the detail gets. Look at that fur on his coat. Oh well. Try again tomorrow. Okay, so we're back in Box. I'm going to try this again. So yesterday we discovered that, well, the supports I'd done weren't good enough. So what I'd used were light supports. So this time I've switched up to heavy supports. And also what I've done is I've put him on a raft, which is apparently a thing, which will allow me to remove him from the build plate, because this bugger took an effort to get off the build plate, and let the program do some auto supports. Now these look overkill to me, really they do, but I'm going to trust the program and let's get this bugger printing again, and I'm going to print him on his own this time. All I need to do now again is slice him up, and that'll do that, and we'll see you at the other side of the print. Okay, so it's all set up again. My new version of Baby Yoda is in there, and there. Right. In 2 hours I will come and I will add more resin to this tank. And I'll just keep topping it up. If I have to overfill it, that's what I'll do. So, while Yoda number 2 prints, let's take a closer look at the failures from yesterday. So yesterday's failure, so this is the rook. So I showed you the little one, that small test one was 3 centimeters big. This one I scaled it up by about 300%. You see here the letters nicely raised out. This time you can see that spiral in the middle. That is not supported by anything. You can see the staircase, you can see that there's weird little things in here, like this little hole that goes nowhere. It's just there to test things. And then yeah, you can see it was just about getting to the top. And what I like is focus on it. You'll see it better on Yoda in a second. You can see where the resin was starting to run out. Yoda, on the other hand, Jesus, he's a little bit dusty this morning, but yeah, can you see the detail on that print? So we've got actual texture on his jacket, and yeah, you can see there where the resin started to basically seep away, which is quite a cool effect really. And what I spotted yesterday was this. So yeah, his finger didn't properly generate in. The supports worked. There's a bit of a bleed over there. Not entirely sure what that is. Hang on. That thing there, because I didn't tell it to put a support there, but there seems to be one. So I'm wondering what that is. The text at the bottom, you can see it's still tacky around the bottom. It's because obviously it was late at night when it printed and when it stopped, so I haven't been able to UV it because there's been no sunlight to put it in. But I'm fixing that today, but hopefully we won't hit the same problems. I am impressed with what I got, but it looks like somebody's been at him with a lightsaber. So, as I mentioned, I had a fix coming for the UV resin not curing after the print. Now, This just arrived. God bless Amazon for the delivery. This is quickly, hastily purchased. Come on. Easy to open if I had both hands, but a set of LED UV lights. So what I'm going to do is create a UV curing box, and basically this solution needs this, a box, and tin foil. And what I do apparently is cut the inside of that box with the tin foil, put the thing in there, and then turn the UV light on. The tin foil is so that it bounces around, so that you've got one source of light and it bounces around inside and gets all angles. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'll quickly show you it once I've done it. And there it is, my hastily put together tinfoil filled box. Yes, I know it's horrendous in there and crackly and all that lot. I'm going to call this curing box version 1 and then work out how to build a better one next time. Okay, 4 hours in. There's probably a fair amount of resin left, but I am not going to gamble. So, this is the first time I'm going to use this feature as well. Pause. And then the next time it goes to a slice, it'll pull it up and... Ooh! Ooh, come on. Have you fixed the finger issue? Yes, he's got all 3 fingers this time. Okay, so I'm going to put some more resin in and start him going again.
He's finished. There's my little green boy. He's got ears and everything and fingers.
Anyway, so first things first is to leave him dangling a little bit so that all the excess resin drips off. So we'll let that happen. Then it's wash him off. Wash off all the excess, the remaining excess with isopropyl alcohol. This stuff. But we'll come back in a minute. We'll come back in half an hour. Okay, so he's had a while to drip. Okay, and I know I'm going to need a better solution long term than a Tupperware filled with isopropyl alcohol, but for now, that's what I've got. Off comes the build plate, and there we go. The water, it's gone immediately green, because there was clearly a lot of resin caught in there, in the raft. Okay, that's something I need to take into account next time. But now I'm going to try and snap him off. Okay, so the raft trick worked. Worked wonders, actually, because it gave me somewhere to get leverage under with my little plastic slice. So he's loose. He's free! 5-10 minute wash in the alcohol quickly with a bit of scrub around the fine bits with a spare toothbrush head, soft toothbrush head, and he's over here. Just drying off, still looks a bit shiny, but that's the alcohol. Now I dug out from, anybody who watched all my old toys videos, you'll see that the spinning disc of joy is back. I thought it would be useful for this chamber, so just turn that on. UV lights, and turning that, can I get in there, into a UV chamber. And I'll leave him in there for 15 to 30 minutes is what I've read online. But we'll see. I'll come back in 15 minutes and see what it looks like. Okay, 15-20 minutes in, let's check. Oh, that's interesting. Some of the excess has gone white. That's what all the little white flecks are. That's excess. Okay, so I didn't do a good enough job of cleaning it, but I can fix that. Let's give him another, because some of it still looks tacky. Let's give him another 10 minutes or so. While that's getting his last 10 minutes, next thing is to do with that tank. So all that resin needs to be put back in the bottle so I can use it next time. But we need to make sure that any bits of cured plastic that floated off, any of the supports that snapped, don't go back into the bottle. So for that, I have a paint filter. And because I planned ahead, I also have pop-out cone. So basically I'm just going to put that into the top of the bottle, put the filter into there, and then pour the leftover resin into the filter. Okay, and here he is fully out of his session in the curing bin, whatever I'm going to call it. I need to do a better job of the cleaning because I think this white stuff is cured resin. But now what I've got to do is remove him from all of his little spots. Some of them have snapped on their own. Some of them will just snap with a little nudge, but for everything else, edge snips. They did provide some with the printer, but they're a bit weak, so I've got my Gundam ones out. Let's remove him, and I'll be back in a second. Do the magic hand thing! Look at him! He is free of all his little constraints, a little nubbin there that I've got to clean off. So yeah, this is it. Our first full-scale 3D print of a baby Yoda. You can see down here. Yeah, so that curing, I clearly hadn't done enough cleaning. So that's something I'm going to have to get to grips with. I know that using a Tupperware full of the alcohol, not ideal. But I think I can buy some Tupperwares with strainers and leave them in there more. I've been watching videos and people suggest ultrasonic cleaners and all kinds of things. So that's something I'll have to learn to get better at. If I was printing this out again, I'd probably use the grey rather than the green for this, so that I could paint it. But for this, for a first print, I think that's pretty good. To give you a bit of scale, because I've realised now that it's very hard to show scale when I'm close up. Well, there are Lego bricks behind. But here are a Funko Pop and an Amiibo. So he's about in between a Funko and an Amiibo size, this guy. Baby Yoda! I'm enjoying this 3D printing. I need to work out some ways to test and learn better and find out where I'm going wrong. I did throw myself in the deep end straight away. Maybe I need to step back and do a bit more of a simple. There is a line in there. That's a bit weird. Step back and simplify. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video of Paddy's first adventures with a 3D printer. Focus. Not you. Although your little chow friend's fun. The child says goodbye.